Alright, good morning guys. If you look around behind us, you can see it is absolutely dead here. We are in Madrid. It is our last stop on our Spain adventure, and we're getting a real early start because it's supposed to be about 100 degrees today. And we were out yesterday and it was just deadly in the sun. So we decided we'd get out real early this morning and do our walking tour of the city here. Today we're going to take you guys to the Royal Palace. We're going to take you to a flea market. We're going to take you to the biggest food market around in Madrid, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. You're going to love this one, and I hope we don't melt. We're staying right in city center, and usually when we get home in the evenings, because we've been here for 2 days, this place is just packed with people everywhere, jammed. But I guess there was a big rave last night. The LGBT community was having some festival here, and it is Sunday morning also. Plus in Europe, people get a late start, so right now it is a totally different world. There are a few people setting up, but that's about it, nothing else. Which is great for us, and it's cool. It's only about 75 degrees right now, 70 degrees. So that's why we're out so early. We're gonna try to get ahead of the heat today. Maybe we'll spend the last little bit of it in the park when it gets hot, or inside the flea market. Oh, look down there, there's the sun, it's coming. A lot of tapas bars and stuff like that. But one thing we noticed about here was the fast food places. They are everywhere. I mean, there's some in Barcelona, no doubt. You'll find Burger King and McDonald's and that everywhere you go pretty much. But here we noticed they're like every like 2 blocks there's a McDonald's. But there's also Taco Bell's. We saw Carl's Jr. here. I mean, we haven't seen one of those in Europe ever in all our travels. So I mean, it's just a huge scene. Anything from Subway, you name it, Burger King, they got it here, and they're every 2 blocks. They must really love it here. We stopped in one, and it was packed. That just has to happen every time you turn the camera on. Yeah, the McDonald's we went to was packed, like chaotically packed. It was madness. Our first stop today is at the El Rastro flea market. It's Madrid's biggest flea market. It's been around for ages and ages and ages, and it sets up every Sunday. Vendors come out with anything you can imagine, from clothes to jewelry to antiques. Hopefully they'll have some food. And Alyssa's on a hunt for an energy drink to get us going this morning. As you can see, every time I turn the camera on today, someone's gonna make a loud noise. Morty.
The invincible pickle Rick.
Seems to be a little bit of everything there. Vintage phones, vintage cassettes, some antique glassware, hats, pants. So it seems to run down the main street, but then it breaks off into all these little side streets here. And it just seems like a bunch of nothing. Like a real typical flea market. Little random this, random that, everything from records, clothes. Oh, got some flowers.
Mira, aquí tiene otro.
Apáñale ese, Rafi, a ver, tráelo para acá. Vamos a esa.
It goes on a pretty good ways. Not quite as big as I thought it was going to be, but it does go on a bunch of these side roads in a lot of different directions. One thing I noticed is there were no food stalls. The only place to eat was at a Burger King or a grocery store at the end of that road there. So that's one downer. But other than that, it's just your typical flea market. It's a pretty small little city, Madrid. You can walk around it in a day, no problem. We just went from one side back to the center where our place is, and now 2 minutes walk in the other direction, and we've made it to the Royal Palace. It's up there. Alright, this next stop of ours is at the Royal Palace. It is the official residence of the Spanish royal family. It was built in 1751. It has 135,000 square meters space inside with like 3,418 rooms in there. Every castle we've been to or palace says it's the biggest one in Europe, so I'm not really sure if I should believe this one or the one in Prague, but as one big structure, this might be the biggest one, they say. And it's a Baroque style of architecture, which is pretty cool. I like this one. Fountain out front, there's gardens all around, there's more statues lining the streets up and down here. Apparently they don't use it now for the royal family, it's just used now for like state ceremonies and things like that. They do fireworks here once a year for one of the patron saints. So we're gonna walk around and show you guys a little bit from the outside. I think you can do tours, they're open later in the day, but we weren't interested in going in this one. So we're just gonna do the outside tour. There's a lot more garbage here than I would expect on the royal grounds. It's everywhere. That statue's even holding a Pepsi can. Not only the garbage, but I noticed a very, very strong smell of urine in the air in some of these areas. Like the dogs must be walked here a lot and just pee everywhere. I think we're both surprised by how many dogs are here running around off leash, just free to roam. Right after I made my comment about it being a dirty park, the garbage men showed up. Look at this. They heard me complain. You gonna get a picture of that? We got yoga over here, samurai over here, dragon over here. Alright guys, behind me is the 2nd century BC Temple of Debod. It is an ancient Egyptian temple, and it's got a really cool story behind it. Especially to us, it's got special meaning. If you remember in our Egypt videos or in our Egypt stories, the vlogs, we told you about how we went to see the Aswan dam where it was built, and how the Abu Simbel temple had to be moved because of when the dam was built, all the flooding came along. Well, this temple was there as well and was going to be destroyed by the flooding. So to pay back Spain for helping them move the Abu Simbel temples around, they went and donated this one to Spain. So in 1972, they brought it here and reconstructed it piece by piece, the exact same way it was there, even the orientation facing east to west and everything. And it was just a thank you to the Spanish government for helping them save the other temples that were there. And so that this one wouldn't get ruined, they figured they would give it to them as a gift. So that is why you are looking at an Egyptian temple in the middle of Spain. Pretty cool story. And because I was so taken back by the fact that they moved the Abu Simbel, you know, those temples around, I thought that story was just amazing. This is really kind of special to be traveling to another country and see another part of that same history here just duplicated over. I'm pretty impressed by this one. I like this. Even though, like I said, it's not the biggest temple we've ever seen, the story behind it, it's pretty cool to us. Yeah. That's some pretty cool architecture all along these streets here. Alright guys, we have a few more stops left today, but we decided to stop in Madrid's biggest park, like their central park. It's called El Retiro. I guess like Retiro. And it's actually pretty nice looking. Look at this. You got well kept grounds, we got fountains, we got people doing some hippie chanting over there. There's a little stadium over here. Looks like a cool place, bunch of places for the kids to play, rides and stuff. This is like a Sunday afternoon little getaway in the middle of the city. And it's actually the biggest park in Madrid. So we're gonna find ourselves a little shade and we're gonna sit down and do some people watching, rest up our legs, and then we'll take you guys to the next few stops. Let's get a little re-reel of the stadium over here. There's some sort of big event going on back here. People sitting in chairs, just listening to something in Spanish. We can't really tell what they're saying. Alyssa said that they call this place the lungs of Madrid because of all the trees it has here. Is the statue? Or Look out, Duck, he's coming for you. So that big statue of the horse up there with the soldier on it, that depicts a soldier from the Cuban-Spanish War. He became a national hero at one point, and now he has his own statue. A pretty big one too. So this glass house behind us here, Alyssa says, was built in 1887, and it's a contemporary art place. There's some art inside there. I don't like it. I like the water fountain out here better. The water fountain stole the show. We're gonna go over there and climb up on that wall and get a better view, I think. Oh, the duck bit the fish. I like these trees growing out of the water best. Look at that thing. Little doves in them. Hey, boy. I've never seen turtles swim up and eat out of your hand like that. That was pretty wild. Alright, so this park is much bigger than we expected. We've been walking around for over an hour. We had a little ice cream, and it is getting blazing hot. It's gonna top 100 degrees, they're saying. So I think we're gonna head on out of the park now. We got 2 more stops to make on our way back to the room, and we'll be catching up with you guys in just a minute. Not sure what that's about. That's like the 5th time on this European trip where I've seen police escorting strange groups of people like that down the streets. So this is the Plaza Mayor, or the main plaza. It's one of the rare open spaces here in Madrid. You can tell by the size of this thing. It is not to be mistaken for any of the other little plazas. This one is huge. And originally it was used for executions. They've held soccer games here. And now, most famously, it's used for its Christmas market every year. There's a big statue in the middle of a horse, and it's mainly just a meeting place now. There's a lot of cafes around here with people sitting around eating, and there's some in the shade underneath these little columns back here. There's all kinds of little vendors. This morning they were all selling coins, and they're coin collector type, real expensive ones, and all kinds of little market stuff. It's pretty cool. It was built in the 1600s, and it is not as crowded as it was last night. I guess it's still early. Like I said, it's now the peak of the heat. It is like 100 degrees, so I can see why it's not too crowded right now. I feel bad for these jokers in these costumes trying to make some money here. They are probably dying of the sweat in there. So Our next stop is at the market. We're gonna take you across there now. All right, now for our last stop before we go back to the hotel, we're gonna take you guys inside this market behind us here, and I'll give you a little history of it in a second as soon as we get out of this crowd right here. Whoever put those olives in that jar had a bad case of OCD. Or a good case. I love it. Alright, so that market in there was built in 1916 and was renovated in 2003. And it is a gastronomical food lover's paradise in there. They get specialties from all over Spain, cheeses from different areas. They get the Iberian hams from special farms. They get fish from over in the Galicia Ocean over there. And it's all in here, a lot of raw foods in there, tartare, and there are some sweets. We saw some king crabs, and it is pretty fancy, but super crowded in there. People are actually like lined up eating, drinking wines right at the counter there from all different winemakers, and it's hard to get any shots of it. So we did the best we could for you. Hope you guys got a taste of what it looked like in there. And I think now we're gonna call it quits, get out of this heat, and head back to our little apartment for the rest of the afternoon. It's about 100 degrees now. So if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.